Ladies and dudes, it is that time once again for another top 5 list that nobody has never done before. And this top 5 list is going to be the most difficult one of all. I'm looking for some adaptation movies here and there that featured in a twist. Something that was based by a book, something that was based by a musical, or something that was based by a fairy tale, or what's ever gonna be. Well, it's hard for me to say, so let's get this whole thing started anyway. Hi ladies and dudes, this is Rebecca Lynn Berkeley, aka Boobot 1987. This is my review for today. And today, I have no review, ladies and dudes, but for today's list, ladies and dudes, I'm gonna do another top 5 list that nobody has never done before. And like I said, it will be a very difficult one to do. So for today's top 5 list of the day is the top 5 of which adaptation movies of all time that featured in a twist. All we have to do is study our movies very carefully that featured so many great adaptations that was based by whatever movie that we like that came from a musical or a book, a fairy tale, anime, or whatever. I'm looking for so many great adaptation films that I knew and loved, even if I know a little bit, that featured in a twist. Something that the directors, the producers, the screenwriters, whoever these people are, I think they want to make their own adaptations that was based by something that we all known and loved for so many years. And like I said, this is going to be a very, very hard thing to find. So I guess everybody wants to know is which one of these adaptation movies that I know and love that has something to do with a twist. Something about changing the storyline just a little bit. Or something that we're all familiar with. Hard for me to say. So without further ado, ladies and dudes, here are my top 5 of which adaptation movies that I found that came from one of my favorites that has a twist in it. So here we go. I only got 2 honorable mentions. One is from Wolverine, and it's an anime adaptation. No, strike that, reverse it. It is a comic book adaptation from our favorite anime OVA of all time called Samurai X Trust and Betrayal. And yeah, they decided to add some changes here and there in this movie. But I will say the biggest twist I found that the female lead did live. She is still alive and she's going to take care of the company. And Wolverine is going on to his next adventure. Yeah, check out this movie. It is truly a comic book adaptation of Samurai X Trust and Betrayal. And there's some stuff I'm familiar with in this movie, if you know what I mean. And the other adaptation I found that featured in the twist is from Pokemon movie Coco, and since it is a Pokemon adaptation of Tarzan. I think the only thing I could find that was featured in the twist that we don't have a Jane character. Nope, there's no Jane character to be found in this adaptation of a Pokemon movie that was based by a book. You know, the legendary Tarzan. So yep, that was the main twist I'm talking about. Something they decided to change from here and there. All I could say, this is a very difficult list to do. So let's get this whole thing started. Coming at number 5 goes to one of the most underrated Pokemon movies of all time, and I don't know why nobody had never talked about it. It's number 10. So for number 5 goes to Pokemon movie number 10, The Rise of Darkrai. And it's a Pokemon adaptation of the Phantom of the Opera. And yes, it is very weird that a Pokemon movie, it is truly based by either way will work between the book or the musical. And yes, they decided to do some couple of changes here and there for the story. We found out there's a female lead who's a Christine Daae person who's not a singer, but she wants to play a tune for the Pokemon. And you got a Rao lookalike who's not a rich dude at all. He's some type of science nerd who wants to do scientist stuff. But I will say the most biggest twist in this movie of The Rise of Darkrai, well, here's the most shocking thing of all. We got a Pokemon who is truly the Phantom of the Opera. And this Phantom of the Opera is not really a bad guy. He's a good guy. Did anybody know that twist is coming? Anybody? Anybody? And if you don't believe me, go and watch Pokemon the movie, The Rise of Darkrai. But please watch it in the Japanese dub and not the English dub, since the voice actress of Ash sounded horrible. If you know me too well. So I put that one at number 5. Coming at number 4 goes to Ponyo, the Miyazaki adaptation of The Little Mermaid. And yes, this is the most easiest one that I could put on the list. A really good Miyazaki film that was based by our favorite fairy tale. And the good news is, I guess one of the main twists is there's no dark moment in the movie. No dark moment at all. But at least Hayao Miyazaki did a really good job of finding a way to make his own adaptation of The Little Mermaid that featured in some parts here and there that was in the book. But I guess you could say one of the most biggest twists in the whole entire movie is, instead of the Little Mermaid, saving a human's life, it's really the human trying to save the Little Mermaid's life. Sosuke did save Ponyo's life from almost there to death in a jar. And yeah, Ponyo did find a way to become human is because of Sosuke's blood, since she licked the blood out of the finger. Well, the thumb, if you know what I mean. But I will say the most biggest twist I ever found in Ponyo that everybody needs to pay attention to is there's no sea witch to be found. There's no sign of a sea witch to come by and tell Ponyo we need your voice and all that stuff. So yeah, no sea witch to be found in this underrated classic. So I decided to put that one on number 4. And coming at number 3 goes to The Incredible Hulk, a superhero adaptation mix of Beauty and the Beast, King Kong, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Frankenstein. Yeah, The Incredible Hulk is one of the most underrated films of all time, and it's a great adaptation with all these good mixtures here and there. I guess you could say the most biggest twist about The Incredible Hulk is when David Banner, or Bruce Banner, well, we should call Bruce Banner since that's his original name. Yeah, Bruce Banner is Dr. Jekyll, and the Incredible Hulk is Mr. Hyde, but the biggest twist about the Incredible Hulk is that Mr. Hyde is just a nice guy. He's not here to hurt anybody. He's just want to beat people up, and he just go raging mad for some unknown reason. And if you guys pay attention about the King Kong storyline, yes, it is true in the end of the movie about King Kong, whichever version you like. You know what the dude said at the end of the movie is, it wasn't the planes, it was Beauty who killed the beast. Well, thanks to this adaptation, it did turn around. Instead of the beauty killing the beast, it's more like the beauty is here to protect the beast. All that Betty ever wants to do is try to protect the beast away from her dad and the soldiers. Since the soldiers are going after him for no reason, and they just want the Incredible Hulk's power for no reason. And yeah, there was another interesting twist that nobody had never noticed. What Gerald Ross should pay attention about. Something that is truly incredible. If he's trying to look for the Incredible Hulk's weakness so darn long, then why he haven't noticed that the Incredible Hulk's weak point is really his daughter? Did anybody see that coming? Or you have not. If you don't believe me, just check out this underrated Marvel classic. You'll know what I'm talking about. And it deserves to be at number 3. And coming at number 2 is Spider-Man No Way Home, is the superhero adaptation of The Wizard of Oz. And yes, ladies and dudes. Yes, ladies and dudes, I know. There was another Marvel adaptation of The Wizard of Oz that featured in Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness. I will say it was okay. But I think this version did a much better job of giving us a good adaptation of The Wizard of Oz. And yes, Doctor Strange is the Wizard of Oz. He is a good man, but he's truly a bad wizard. And they do a good job of giving us so many twisting moments that ever happened in this movie. And I guess one of the biggest twisting moments is, since the main character is not going to any of the multiverse worlds, that came from the Spider-Man universe, it was the multiverse itself that is going to Peter Wands' world, in the MCU world. Yeah, that's the biggest twist that nobody sees coming. And most of all, ladies and dudes, the most surprising twist I ever found for this adaptation for this movie is it has something to do with the 3 supporting characters. The 2 Peter Parkers and 1 Dr. Octopus. Peter 2 is Scarecrow, Peter 3 is Tin Man, and Dr. Octopus is the Cowardly Lion. And their biggest twist of all is they did show the main goals at the near end point in the movie. Peter 2 used his brain to risk his life of saving Norman Osborn's life so he won't get killed by Peter 1 when he was holding that glider thing. And Peter 3 risked his life of saving MJ's life from almost falling to her death, and since this guy has a heart. And also for Dr. Octopus, he had the courage. He had the courage to stand up for only 2 enemies, Electro and the Green Goblin. And if you guys don't believe me, go back and rewatch this movie for yourself. And yeah, the saddest part is poor Peter Parker has no way home. The most saddest twist of all. So it has to be at number 2. And easily for the number 1 best movie adaptation ever that featured in the twist is Belle. And it's truly the mixing adaptation of Beauty and the Beast and Ready Player One. This is the best adaptation movie of all time that featured in a twist. And I will say the most biggest twist I ever found in this movie that everybody needs to pay attention of is truly the Beast. And there he is, right behind Belle. There's the most surprising moment you should know about this character. If you pay attention to the Beauty and the Beast storyline very carefully, whichever version you like, we already found that the only way to break the curse is, the Beauty needs to fall in love with the Beast, and the curse will finally be broken at long last. Well, Sally, this Beast is staying a Beast, and there's no curse to be broken. This is the most biggest twist ever in movie history. We got a Beast who stayed as a Beast, and there's no curse to be broken. Nothing to be found. That's for sure. And that's why Belle deserves to be the #1 best adaptation movie of all time with a twist. And there you go, ladies and dudes. Those were my top 5 best movies of all time with a great adaptation, and it featured in a twist. So tell me, ladies and dudes, what is your favorite adaptation movie of all time that featured in a twist? Well, whichever it is, leave a comment there and let me know, and I'll be back very soon for more videos to come in the main future, whichever it will be. So, that is it for now. I'll see you all later, and sayonara.